Using a pickup truck and a hydraulic jack to rip out a monster tree, totally doable. From mad skills and clever physics hacks to pure mechanical firepower, watch how they turn tough stump removals into an insanely satisfying show. Let's dive in with Rawmachines.
Yep. Keep on.
All that time I kept thinking, this isn't going to end well. But surprisingly, it turned out perfectly. Looks like he used up all his luck on this gotcha pull.
You got it! Just pull it out!
If the goal were simply to remove a tree, an excavator, a chainsaw, or a stump grinder, would obviously be the more practical choices. But here, they opted for 50 pounds of tannerite, making the result look more like a spectacle than actual land clearing. It's undeniably satisfying to watch, though definitely not a DIY trick to try in your own backyard.
And I got a lot of stumps in my yard.
Hahaha, that's crazy and reckless. Guess success really favors the bold. It looks like a simple claw, but the Stronken Killer 1270 version can generate up to 500 kilonewtons of clamping force. Equivalent to roughly 51 tons of force. Instead of wasting time digging wide around every single stump, the operator can use the clamp itself to bite into the stump and roots, leveraging the raw power of the Volvo to rip them straight out of the ground. When you have an entire right-of-way to clear, the difference in productivity really starts to add up. Back in the day, splitting a log of this size required axes, steel wedges, and a ton of brute force. Today, 80 tons of hydraulic force gets the job done with a single steady movement. The work remains the same. Manpower has simply been replaced by machine power. Don't let that 18 horsepower fool you. The real strength here lies in the cable and pulley system set up behind it. With a mechanical advantage ratio of up to 42:1, that little tractor can turn modest pulling force into sheer brute strength. This isn't a battle of horsepower, it's a battle of physics. Have you ever seen anyone use a leaf blower to tend a fire? It's not meant to put the fire out, but to pump a massive amount of oxygen straight into the core of the tree, turning that 19-inch pine stump into an absolute furnace. That combination of a leaf blower and clever cut grooves is what creates that breathtaking volcano effect. This is the Rayco RG80, a heavy-duty dedicated stump grinder, making quick work of an oak stump around 36 inches in diameter. Instead of ripping out the entire root system, the cutting wheel sweeps across the stump pass by pass, with carbide teeth relentlessly shaving and grinding the wood into chips. In this footage, the whole job takes only about 10 minutes. Pretty impressive power, right? Who says you always need a giant excavator to clear out a yard? This is a textbook lesson in applying mechanical leverage over raw engine power. Never, ever underestimate a rigger with a winch and a pulley.
You see it? Oops. Oops.
This isn't just a wood chipper. The Albach Diamant 2000 is a straight-up timber-eating monster. Tree trunks up to 60 centimeters in diameter get pulled in and, within seconds, turned into a steady stream of wood chips blasted directly into the trailer. The more wood you feed it, the more this machine proves it was built for big league jobs. Why bother setting up such an intricate web of ropes for a simple land clearing job? The latter half of the video gives you the ultimate answer. Without any engine straining or messy digging, the tractor simply rolls forward smoothly, pulling the entire underground root system right out of the dirt. Gravity saved his skin on that one. Always prioritize safety. A chainsaw can be replaced. You only get one life. This is the combination of a Fendt 930 Vario and an AHWIM 650 mulcher. Instead of relying on pulling force to yank out the whole stump, the tractor's power is routed straight to the rotor, where the grinding teeth pulverize the stump and root system right in place. What an absolute treat to watch.
Weź na sznurek.
A healthy tree doesn't necessarily have to be chopped down just because it grew in the wrong spot. A tree spade allows you to dig up the entire tree along with its root ball and relocate it to a better location. For trees that took decades to mature, this isn't just about saving the tree. It's often a far more economical investment as well. If you liked our video, leave a 1 in the comments. Your support inspires us to create more. There's something deeply satisfying about watching a steel claw crush right through an old tree stump. The immense pressure from the hydraulic system drives the saw blade straight through the thick, tough wood fibers. In just a few passes, a stump that seemed virtually indestructible is neatly broken down.
Yep. Keep on. It's coming. Keep on. There it comes. You got it.
What a nail biter to watch, but thank goodness everything turned out fine in the end. You don't even need to know the exact diameter of this log. The Sawyer standing right next to it serves as the ultimate benchmark. It's so massive it almost completely fills the throat opening of the bandsaw mill. Every pass here doesn't just cut a board, it slices off an absolute chunk of a tree trunk. If you're used to traditional side-to-side stump grinders, you'll see this machine operating on a completely different logic. This is a dedicated vertical stump drill, powered by the massive torque of the tractor's PTO shaft. Instead of chewing up the surface, it bores straight into the heart of the roots, shaving down the wood from the inside out like a giant pencil sharpener. Strength isn't the only factor here. Understanding center of gravity and leverage is the real key. By pressing their foot against the hose handle right next to the base, the gardener creates massive leverage to snap the final roots. What seems like backbreaking work is handled brilliantly, all without heavy machinery. One end takes in bulky branches and awkward logs, and out the other comes a steady stream of wood chips that are infinitely easier to transport and use. That's what makes a wood chipper so valuable. It doesn't just crush wood, it transforms an unwieldy heap of waste into a uniform, manageable material. Depending on the wood type and processing system, those chips can then be repurposed for all sorts of uses. Who needs an excavator when you've got a hydraulic jack and arms strong enough to pump it a few hundred times? Physics is definitely doing him a favor, though his arms might be begging to differ. Haha. Transporting logs by motorcycle. That's an interesting idea, but I think it's a bit too dangerous. A typical stump grinder usually only has to fight wood right at ground level. This SG-75 has to start from nearly 4 feet up. There's no single destructive blow here. The cutting wheel has to shave it down layer by layer, working its way down through the massive chunk of wood all the way to the root zone. This isn't just a test of power, it's a true endurance test for the entire grinding system. Land Rover advertised the Discovery 3 as a versatile SUV, but I doubt they ever imagined someone using it as a stump puller.
To jest off-road, prawda?
This is probably the best off-road logging video I've ever seen. A real truck doing real work with seriously smart driving skills. It definitely blows away those modified recreational vehicles.
Dobry off-road.
That right there is the definition of maximum efficiency in forestry. Instead of wasting labor gathering timber and hauling it to a stationary chipper, this mobile setup brings the chipper straight to the timber. Land clearing and wood chip production are merged into a single seamless operation, turning the whole forest into a continuous processing line with zero downtime. There's an oddly satisfying feeling in watching stubborn stumps finally surrender to the power of hand tools. What started as a messy patch of tangled roots is now completely cleared and leveled after just a few final touches. It's proof that with a good grasp of manual tools, you can achieve professional-grade landscape transformation right at home. What lies in front of this machine is brush and wood waste. What's left behind is processed biomass. The FAEBM H225 utilizes 2 consecutive grinding rotors, breaking down material in 2 stages before discharging it. It doesn't just clear the land, it converts a heap of waste into a usable resource while on the move. Black locust wood is famous for its hardness and extremely stubborn root system. However, that resilience becomes pointless against a machine with a massive clamping force. Instead of exhausting digging, it plunges 2 steel jaws into the ground to sever young roots, locks onto the main stump, and rips the entire thing up in just a few moves. Absolutely amazing. This road looks deceptively easy, but it's not. Just one slight steering mistake, and you could plunge into the ravine at any moment.
Hey, mashallah.
What looks like leftover agricultural waste meant for the dump gets transformed the moment the Surat mulcher rolls through. It grinds the residue down and deposits all that organic matter right back into the soil. Nothing actually goes to waste. What marks the end of one harvest cycle becomes the rich foundation for the next. Just a minute ago, this was just your average farm tractor doing routine field work. Hooked up to the Model 1710, its 125 plus horsepower is now channeled into a completely different mission, tearing down and clearing out stubborn tree stumps. That's the beauty of these attachments. Instead of buying a whole new specialized machine, you simply redefine what your tractor can do. Look at how the operator feeds the branches into the machine, always maintaining a safe distance and letting the auto feed mechanism handle the rest. That level of precision and rhythm between human and machine clears out the entire brush pile in a fraction of the time manual labor would take. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any exciting moments in our upcoming videos.